So if you've ever purchased an HD lace wig, you probably noticed that the lace is a lot more delicate, and you may have even torn your lace just by trying to do things like tweezing, just regular manipulation, things along that line. So in this video, I'm going to show you utilizing HairVivi's new frontal unit and an application method. I'm going to show you how you can fix that for a much lower price than trying to purchase a whole new wig. If that sounds like it interests you, stay tuned and let's dive into this tutorial. So I have this HairVivi wig here, and it's one of their HD lace frontal units. It's gorgeous lace, but as you can see, it has a tear there on that hairline. So let's say this happens to you. I'm gonna show you how you can fix it using a replacement frontal from HairVivi and allow you to kind of see some methods to it and all that. If it doesn't interest you in terms of doing this yourself, there is also a method that can be done where you can send it to HairVivi and have them replace the frontal yourself, and we'll discuss some of those details as this video continues on forward. So I have a canvas wig block here. I'm gonna go ahead and toss this wig on there upside down. So I'm gonna turn this baby inside out, and we're going to go ahead and place it right onto this canvas wig block and pin it down. So I've got it there. We're gonna get over here on this ear. You guys can see it's been worn quite a bit. We've got some glue on here, we have some oil on there, there's just a lot going on. So we're gonna first begin by removing this fake scalp piece, and then from there we're gonna work on replacing the frontal of the wig. Just so you know, it's not the entire closure portion, it's just gonna be from about here forward. So I'll show you guys what I mean once I get this baby taken off. Now to do this, I have a cheap sewing kit. You can use a razor, but I just feel like seam rippers are a little bit more safe for something like this. If you've never seen a seam ripper, or if you have a sewing kit and you didn't know what this is for, a seam ripper basically slides right underneath your threads and allows you to cut them without risking tearing the fabric and things as easily. So let's go ahead and get this baby up close here, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So I'm going to come right up underneath the thread there, slide, and it just goes ahead and cuts that for me. Quick, simple cut like that. And you guys notice that'll come right on off there. So this is basically just similar to a stocking cap. As I feel like I need to, I'll just slide again and continue to peel that off. So now that we have that completely removed, I'm gonna go ahead and place a replacement frontal over the top of this one. So when you order a replacement frontal like this here, they're also gonna send you a little baggie like this right here. Inside here we have thread, we have some stick pins, and we also have some needles in here for you to be able to stitch this frontal on. Now, again, like I said, if you did not want to do this yourself, this is a service that they offer, but they will not cover the shipping to them. They will only cover the shipping back to you with the purchase of that frontal or the purchase of the repair on there. You can also save a considerable amount of money if you are purchasing your wig with a replacement frontal in its place, just in case, and that way you can kind of extend the longevity of your wig if needed, especially if you know you're heavy-handed and you've torn a lace wig before. So something to consider there. If you don't have a canvas wig block like this one here, you can actually use one of the styrofoam ones, but I'm just going to go on in here and we're gonna see how this baby wants to fit. And it's looking like I should be able, so if you see that seam right in there, I'm just going to match up this seam here right along with that, and we're going to stitch along that line. From there, I'm just going to go straight across both sides. So all we're doing is just replacing that frontal all the way across onto the band on the side of the wig there. That's literally all we're going to be doing. So I want to match up from the ear tabs on the side, and then make sure that it's going to come all the way across to the other side here, which it does. So from there, what I want to do, after I've made sure I've got that position right about where I want it, is I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to take one of my pins, we're going to place it here. I'll worry about getting it closer on the sides there in just a minute. Right now I'm just positioning. And then we're just going to continue to place it right on across the front. Now, because this thread is really small, it's very thin, it's honestly somewhat transparent, it's kind of hard to see, I'm going to go ahead and use a threader like this here. And what this threader does, like you see that little metal part, it's going to slide directly through our needle here, and that way I can just place my thread directly through that larger hole that we have there rather than through the needle's eye. So it's going to make things a little bit easier. We're going to cut just a little bit of this thread I don't want it to be too long because I'm really not trying to get it tangled up, but it is, I'd say, about a little bit more than an arm and a half's length, and I'm going to double that over. From there, we're going to go ahead and take our thread, pass it right on through the eye here. And then when we pull our threader back out, it's going to automatically thread the needle. That's what we're looking for. After that, I'm going to go ahead and tie this. I've got the two ends matched up, so hopefully you can see those there. I don't know if you can see how, like, they're rather transparent, so it's kind of hard to see. But hopefully you can see those two ends. We're going to take those, I'm going to wrap it around my fingers, give it a spin till my finger slides out, and then zip closed. And that's going to automatically tie a knot in that thread for me. From there, just because I'm extra cautious, I'm going to go ahead and do that one more time. And that way I can just ensure that we've got enough knots in there. So we're good to go there. Before we begin any stitching, I want to make sure to emphasize to you that they're only doing replacement frontals right now for their top 15 best-selling wigs at the moment. Depending upon how well this does, or if like people seem like it's in higher demand, things like that, they'll start doing it for other wigs as well. But for right now, it's just for their top 15. So I would definitely suggest checking out their website via the links in the description box down below. And that way you kind of know if it's something where you're able to replace your frontal or not using these methods. Otherwise, you might have to go ahead and purchase a different wig from them, or see if they have another option for you by contacting the company. So from there, I went ahead and stitched through here. I'm going to stitch back just a couple times. And notice I left that end out because I want to make sure I'm able to loop back through it. So I'm going to leave that out, pull from there, and that way as I pull, notice those ends kind of go right on down to that scalp area, just like that. So we're just going to go ahead and stitch right along the backside, in and out. Usually the method I would typically do would be a blanket stitch, but I'm stitching more like how they would stitch it with the company, just to ensure that it's going to lay as flat as possible without any bulk whatsoever. As I'm sewing in there, I'm kind of bobbing in and out. So it's like a little bit of a weave pattern like this here. That's what we're wanting to do, is go up and down through there, not just kind of stitching onto it there. And that way I can get it as snug down to the head as possible. So I'm gonna go ahead and adjust a bit so you can see. And then that way we're gonna go down and in, out, in, out, just like so. And we're just going to follow right along that seam that's already there, just stitching right along there, in and out the whole way through, making sure we're passing through the bottom lace and that top piece of lace too. So I'm going to go ahead and stitch all the way across, and then we'll cut forward. So once I get down to the bottom here, I'm just going to go ahead and stitch a couple times at this end, and that way I can ensure that it is secure right around here. So we're just going to go ahead and knot off, and then from there I'm going to cut a new piece of thread. We're going to stitch along the outside piece on the way back. We've already got the way in, but I just want to have that double security there, so that way in case I missed any stitches on the way across, I can catch them on the way back. Now that I've got that all stitched on, we're nice and secure on here, I'm going to go ahead and remove my pins all the way around here. And I'm just going to give it another tug just to ensure everything is secure before I start taking anything off the wig block. So you guys can see how secure all that is. That's what we're looking for. So once we have removed that, we have the new frontal and we have the old frontal, this baby here. So what we're gonna do now is go in and we're gonna cut off the old frontal all the way around the inside of this wig. Look at that straight frontal there. And then I'm gonna come as far back as I can, and we're going to begin removing that. Nice and close to where our previous section was. Okay, so now that we have that frontal cut off, if we wanted to, we could go in here and be able to make adjustments. We could try to stitch back on that underneath piece, all of that. If you're not super comfortable with sewing, I would honestly recommend sending it into them and having them replace the frontal for you, just so that way you're not worried about messing anything up. But it's great that for those who don't mind doing those sort of things, that you're able to make those adjustments for yourself. So again, there's the inside of the wig, completely stitched together. There is a subtle line of demarcation doing it that way. Which I don't know if you can see it against my hand. You can definitely see it when it's on the wig cap, but I certainly want to ensure that this is something that I'm showing you guys kind of how to do. That way, if it was something you're interested in, you're able to save yourself some cash and do it, rather than feeling like you have to buy a whole new wig, or like you have to pay for that service fee or the shipping, anything along those lines. I'm gonna see if I can stitch this cap back in here. If so, I'll show you guys what it looks like after it's stitched, and then from there I'll try to get it styled and back on Alison so you can see it when it's completely finished. Don't forget to check out the links in the description box and check out HairVivi and some of their units. They do make some really nice units for you guys to check out. But of course, if you've ever worn HD lace, you already know it's pretty fragile. So I slightly messed up on attaching here, probably because I was stretching this too much, just because it's so stretchy. I think it'll be fine. It's just such a thin piece of fabric. I'm honestly not overly concerned, especially because it's towards the back. But I'll let you guys know if it shows when we're finished with all of this. I will say stitching this part on is honestly not too difficult, which is nice, because things ain't nobody trying to take all day on something as detailed as that. So that's lovely. Okay, so I went ahead and got that cap stitched back underneath there, so you guys can see like the lace all the way up to here. There's the cap underneath. Slight difference in the way that the knots are bleached, so we'll have to see how that looks once we get it on Alison, and then from there we are good to go. So yeah, you guys let me know what you think down below. I'm gonna blow this out, I'll get it on Alison and let you guys see the final look.
Alright, so I'm gonna begin by laying this front hairline. I do have a little bit of spritz on here, but this just kind of helps it to lay the way I want it to, and then I'll lay the part line because Alison likes her hair parted on the side. Before anyone says anything, I know my voice sounds deeper. Yesterday was a long day of speaking, and my voice is on its way out. By the way, no, I do not place the flat iron against my lips. Don't do that, you'll burn yourself and die. But I do place it rather close because after years of doing hair, my hands don't feel temperature the same way that they used to. But I did want to show you guys how beautifully this hair flat ironed out, and it flat ironed really easily. The shine is impeccable on this hair as well. Hairline looks really good. You do still see that line of demarcation there, just due to the difference in how the knots are bleached, but the wig still looked really good on Alison in my opinion. With the frontal still attached, this is how, or the lace portion still attached, this is how that frontal is looking. And then Alison, after she shows you guys, is gonna go ahead and remove the lace and adhere it, and that way you guys can kind of see how it's looking once it's complete. I think it still looks gorgeous, and to me, I definitely feel like this is a more cost-effective option than trying to replace a full-length, full head of a wig. You're able to replace just that frontal and save yourself some change in the meantime. And keep in mind, you can save quite a bit more if you're purchasing the wig and the frontal at the same time, especially if you know you're not very gentle with wigs. But Alison really liked the way that this turned out. This is the full length of the hair, and you guys can see she's kind of feeling herself, tossing that to the side, acting like you called her. Huh? What'd you say? You know, all that. I love this woman, y'all. She is literally my life. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Take care. God bless. Stay glam. You know we love you, boo. Bye.